What is up, guys? Ariel Patrice here. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new, hello, welcome. And if you're returning, thank you for staying. So this is part 2 of LPC and LSSP differences. For those of y'all who don't know, LPC is Licensed Professional Counselor and LSSP is a Licensed Specialist in School Psychology, also known as a school psychologist in other states other than Texas. So last video we talked about the first 5 of 10 that I have of the differences. So if you haven't watched that video, I'll go ahead and put like a little link up here so y'all can click on that before you watch this one. And so we're just going to get right into it. But before we do, don't forget to like this video or subscribe or hit that notifications button so you don't miss a video from me. And so let's go ahead and get into point 6 that I have. So as an LPC, I am allowed to diagnose. In order to get insurance from those clients, you do have to have a diagnosis so that the insurance will pay you and allow that client to see you if you take insurance. I personally do not take insurance. I just do private pay for my own personal reasons that the insurance company doesn't need to know why, like what your diagnosis is or why you are seeing me. I think it's kind of a little bit invasive, just my complete opinion, and so I'd rather just have private pay and not have to go through dealing with why this person has this diagnosis or if it's good enough for them to be able to pay for them to come and see me. So I don't do it, but nevertheless, we can, as opposed to an LSSP. LSSPs are not allowed to diagnose. LSSPs are allowed to explain what a child qualifies for and where they meet the criteria for specific things. Like if I'm doing an autism assessment and it comes up moderate, high, or whatever, I'm like, okay, this person meets the criteria for autism, but I cannot say I am diagnosing this person with autism as an LSSP practicum student, or, well, as a practicum student, I couldn't anyway, but as an LSSP, I cannot say, okay, this person is now diagnosed with autism. I could just say they meet the criteria for this. As far as like with the LPC, I could say, okay, this person, I am diagnosing this person with anxiety or with depression or with PTSD symptoms based on the assessments that I've done and kind of back that up in that way. The 7th point is, and I have my notes here again, just in case. And so the 7th point is, as an LPC, I use a book which is called the DSM-5, and anybody who is a licensed social worker or a mental health clinician in some way knows what the DSM-5 is. And so that is something that has kind of all of these different diagnoses in it, how you meet criteria to come up with that diagnosis, the symptoms, what it does, what it is. As an LSSP, we do not use the DSM-5. What we use is the IDEA, and that is the Individuals with Disability Education Improvement Act. And so can we look at the DSM as an LSSP? Yes. But that is not what we rely on like we do as an LPC. We rely on the DSM-5 to kind of guide us and see, okay, does this person meet this, meet this, meet this? Okay, yes, I can diagnose that person with that. Or, okay, no, we can't diagnose that person with that. But an LSSP uses the IDEA Act, which, again, Individuals with Disability Education Improvement Act. Let me explain exactly what IDEA is. According to APA, the IDEA Act advocates for the well-being and support of students with disabilities, as well as the ability of psychologists to serve them, their families, and their schools. So it's really focusing on the principles that IDEA holds, and that's kind of how we do our basis of what they meet the qualifications for. Number 8. Okay, so as an LPC, and I think this is probably one of the biggest ones that I've noticed, as an LPC, I work very independently. I see my clients, they come in and they go. I write my notes and it's solely just me working with them. And with the occasional exception of if I need to talk with their doctor, or their doctor wants to talk with me, or a family member, if it's a child, wants to talk with me and kind of give me a history or a background, or give me some insight on the behaviors of the person that I've been seeing, and with the doctor maybe telling me some different medications that the person's on and for what, so I know how to better help this person be the best version of themselves. While as an LSSP, basically, I am definitely not, as an LSSP practicum student, I am definitely not working independently. It is very much a school thing, and you notice that really quick once you get into your first ARD. And so I wrote down people that I've been involved with while I work with the student. And so I've been involved in the ARD meetings. I've been involved with diags, diagnosticians, with teachers, with doctors, with principals, a little bit of everybody. It really is a school family coming together in all of these different areas to help this student. My job as an LSSP practicum student is a fraction of what this kid is getting. And so the assessments, the counseling, the consultations, that is like this big compared to everything else that they're getting from their teachers, from the principal, from the diag, from the speech person, from the nurse, from whoever. I mean, the population is way bigger than you would think it would be. Definitely not something like what I see as an LPC, because it is very much just me and that person. And on the occasion, maybe another person, maybe at max 2 other people, but definitely not like it is as an LSSP where there's like 10 other people that you're working with to kind of help this child get the accommodations and get the help that they need to be the most productive student, and help them through their disability so that they can move forward and be the best student that they can be. Okay, let's see here. Number 9. Okay, so from what I have seen so far as well is, as an LPC, accommodations and needs can be changed whenever. That's what I have written down here. And so if I am seeing a child, a teen, an adult, a young adult, an older adult, as I'm working with them, we are allowed to kind of change the accommodations that are needed for them as they go through the journey of healing, or as they go through the journey of being the best version of themselves. We're allowed to change things regularly, as much as we need to, that is personalized and specific, that's going to help them then. As opposed to what I've seen as an LSSP practicum student, decisions last anywhere from about a year to 3 years, which is what I've gathered from the ARD meetings. And so ARD meetings are here annually, so they happen every single year. And so that means that once a decision is made on what kind of accommodations this person's going to get, or what they can use, and all of that is set in stone for an entire year until the next ARD meeting, where you can discuss if you're going to take away something or add something or kind of revise something. But at least I haven't seen yet, and so I'm not sure if this is completely true or not. So if it isn't, y'all please let me know. But from what I've seen so far, once it's set in stone in that ARD meeting, they have a year where this is what those accommodations look like, or this is what they're going to get as far as counseling or whatever else. And then we'll meet and talk about it again the next year. And the reason I say 1 to 3 years is because sometimes those things, from what I've seen, is they get rechecked every 3 years. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that the person has to use every single accommodation, but it also, from what I've gathered, means that it's not something that is going to even be looked at for revision until another year or something. It's not something that could be like, oh, I made this decision this week, and now we're going to go ahead and change it next week. That does not happen as an LSSP practicum student role or an LSSP role. It's not, okay, well, I see that this is going, okay, so let's go ahead and change that. That's not how that works. As opposed to an LPC, it is okay, we've gone through that. Maybe we've done it for a few months, a couple months, and now we're going to move forward with this, or we're going to retweak this, or we're going to do this because it's not working for you, or we're going to do this because it is working for you, so we're going to do more of that kind of thing. Like I said, I'm not sure if that's completely true because I haven't had anybody in the district that I'm at, parents or anything like that, I haven't had them question it or teachers question it in a way of, hey, I know we were doing this, but next week, can we do this? I don't know if the answer would be yes or not, honestly. So y'all tell me if it would be, because I honestly don't know. I haven't had anybody had to ask that. And the last, number 10. The biggest thing for sure, as an LPC, I get to set my schedule. Very much so in my private practice. I can schedule people or not schedule people when I want to because it's on my time. If I feel like I'm getting burnout, I'm not going to schedule somebody. If I feel like I have way too much time on my hands, I'm going to add more people. At my job, because of my practicum, it is very flexible to put my clients wherever I need to put them time-wise. That's beneficial for me as long as I'm seeing 5 people a day. And so if I need to put them 5 in a row or split them up morning and evening or do whatever I need to do, I can do that because it's very flexible for me. As opposed to an LSSP and an LSSP practicum student, because there is a lack of LSSPs in this district, in this area, that means that one LSSP has a number of schools that are just theirs. In that number of schools that is just theirs, there is a number of students that are just theirs, that all need some type of assessment, all need some type of deadline, all need some type of art that needs to happen, all need some type of counseling, all have different needs for one person to do that. One. And that can be easily over 100 students for one LSSP. You don't get to pick and choose what your schedule looks like. You have deadlines, and multiples of them might be in the same week, a few of them on the same day. And so you are working your ass off to get those deadlines met, which means you don't have time off to be able to say, well, I know that's due like next week, but I'll be fine. No, you absolutely don't get to do that. There is no flexible schedule because everybody has a need that needs to be met. And everybody in this community has a part that they have to play to make sure that that need is met by the specific day. You can organize how you want everything to look, but it's not like as an LPC where I can be like, okay, I'm not going to do that today because I'm burnt out. Or I'm going to set my schedule that works and that's comfortable for me. Because of the deadline that is needed from an LSSP or an LSSP practicum student, you're not able to have that luxury of saying, okay, I'm going to take a step back just in case I feel like I'm getting burnt out, because you can't take a step back because there's always going to be a deadline there. All right, guys, that is all. So if you have a question or you feel like I didn't hit something or anything like that, just go ahead and comment below. Don't be afraid to comment below. I'm here to answer anything. Maybe I missed something. Maybe there's something I didn't go into more detail about that you would want to know about. So shoot me a comment. That is all, guys. As always, I love you. I appreciate you. I thank you. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And until next time. Bye.